Ben McAdoo said he didn't take Janoris Jenkins' actions that led to his indefinite suspension personally. That's fine. He's a leader, and leaders really can't take that stuff personally. But the Giants players should probably start taking it personally very soon, because even though on Wednesday after Jenkins got suspended, they all to a man in the locker room expressed that they have complete respect and they want to play hard for McAdoo, they sure have a funny way of showing their respect for McAdoo. And at some point, they need to actually show this respect, or it's going to end badly for McAdoo and for them. Look, it's very clear at this point with the final 9 games of the season, Ben McAdoo is going to be coaching for his job. The team is 1-6. They're going nowhere. They're not going to win a lot of games given their shorthandedness with their injuries and such. They don't have the personnel to win a lot of games. So in that sense, Ben McAdoo, the way he's going to prove that he can keep this team going forward and get a 3rd year is to keep this team united, to keep them playing hard, and to keep them becoming a complete circus, which is what they're kind of bordering on with the 2nd suspension in 3 weeks of a prominent player. Now look, the Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie suspension seems like it's very different from the Janoris Jenkins suspension. It seems like DRC just got upset and, stormed out of the building. They took care of that. Now Janoris Jenkins, I think a lot of people can relate to the idea that if you're not going to be at work, you got to call someone. That's just, what Jonathan Casillas said the other day is right. It's inexcusable to not let someone know that you're not going to show up to work. But here's the thing. The Giants can claim they respect McAdoo, but their actions are not showing that they respect McAdoo. And they need to start showing that respect in an active manner, and this stuff has to end. Because here's the thing. When a head coach goes out the door, they usually hire his opposite. We saw this, look at Giants history. Jim Fossil was kind of a player's coach at the end of his tenure. Similar season where they had high expectations coming into the year, finished 4-12. Jim Fossil goes out, Tom Coughlin, disciplinarian, comes in. Now, Tom Coughlin and Ben McAdoo are not as polar opposites maybe as Fossil and Coughlin were. But look, I think it was very clear that when Tom left and Ben took over as head coach, Ben was more of a player's coach. We had music at practice. We had the Benny with the good hair t-shirts. We had the relaxed dress code on the road. It just seemed like there was more of a player-friendly bend to how the Giants did things. Now, year 2, it seems like maybe that foundation is not helping Ben. It seems like Ben is kind of midstream, having to find himself be a disciplinarian. And look, I talked to a friend of mine who was a college coach, and he said it's very difficult for a coach to change a culture that he himself created. And I think you might start to see that situation unfold with Ben McAdoo. So here's what the players need to realize. If you respect Ben McAdoo, you better show it. You better have the off-field, sideshow, locker room nonsense end. Because if that doesn't end, there's a very good chance that Ben McAdoo is going to lose his job at the end of the year. And when Ben McAdoo loses his job, John Mara is probably going to go out and find the opposite of Ben McAdoo. And you might suddenly have a guy who comes in, a new head coach, disciplinarian, flips tables over, cuts guys, trades guys, turns the whole place upside down, and all of a sudden, the way things were with Ben McAdoo is going to look pretty darn good to these players, and they're going to think, hey, maybe we should have respected him a little bit more obviously, maybe we should have played a little bit harder, maybe we should have won some games from him, because we don't really like this new regime. And look, I think there's arguments to be made that maybe that's what the Giants need. Maybe they need a complete house cleaning and someone to flip the snow globe upside down, but players definitely don't want that, especially a very young team. The Giants do have a young team. A lot of these guys are coming back next year, and they might find that they would rather have Ben McAdoo as their head coach. So if they like Ben McAdoo, if they respect him, if they're telling the truth, time to go show it for the Giants, because if they don't, it might not end well for them.